Hey yo, what is up, World of Tanks Frontline 2022. In today's video, I'm going to cover all the tips and tricks. I'm going to tell you how you can make General 100% of the time. I'm going to show you how you can also make 500,000 credits on your average game. I'm also going to tell you why I got bored of this game mode and what I think wargaming can do to revive this game and make this game mode great again. So let's start off with the game meta. The goal of this game mode is to rank up to General. When you rank General, you get multipliers to your experience and your credit earnings. And that's pretty straightforward and simple to understand, I guess. This should be your only goal. Your win-loss record is not even kept in your personal stats. The only stats recorded are how many top damage games and how many top XP games you got. If I'm not mistaken, the medals are called General of the Army and the other one is called Supreme Gun. I think there's also one other badge for total amount of capture points and another one for top defense points. But you know, these other medals are, you know, less prominent. The ones that most recognizable are your Supreme Gun, which, you know, you got to be top damage and you got to do more than 10,000 damage, something like that. And the other one is General of the Army, where you have the most XP out of everybody, something like that. The game doesn't even recognize how many times you make General, because only General of the Army is recorded into your personal stats. Okay, so now you understand the meta. Let's game the system for maximum efficiency and productivity. Here's what you need to know. The average game duration is about 21 minutes. Your goal is to rank to General before the 21-minute mark. Yes, there are games that end in 12 minutes, for example. You know, some noobs in their EBR rush to the back and kill off the turrets. It happens. Don't worry about it. Don't call them retards in the chat, because you're gonna get yourself banned for that. Focus on your own game. Your goal is to rank to General so that you earn the multipliers for your XP and you earn the multipliers for your credit bonuses. But if you're interested in being General of the Army and having your achievements recorded permanently in your stats, then you realistically need to make General at around the 15-minute mark. Now pay attention to this gameplay. Look at the bottom left. He is going to get RT striked or air striked, and he's gonna have 2 loaders taken out, but with a small repair kit he has only managed to revive one of those loaders. So he's got 1 loader that is still in need of medical attention, and he needs to wait for the cooldown for another 90 seconds before his, you know, first aid kit is ready to be deployed to his second loader. And you know, we'll circle back around this equipment and we'll talk about it later on. And like I was saying, your focus, your target is to make General before the 21-minute mark. But the best thing you can do is try to reach this target around the 15-minute mark. Now, Keeping time or keeping track of the 15-minute mark is kind of difficult because you are focused in the game. But if you need a visual reference, you need to make general before all the alphabetical objectives are captured. So before A, B, C, D, E, F are all captured, make sure you are already ranked into general. The sooner you make general, the more time you have to consolidate your lead and keep players from either teams taking the top spot from you. While making general, you can also farm massive amounts of credits by using credit boosters. You can get a maximum of 95% credit boosters by combining your platoon booster, which is 15% bonus, your clan boosters, which are 30% bonus, and your personal boosters, which are typically the best one is 50% bonus, and that's a combined 95% bonus to your credit earning. So for example, if you earned 250,000 credits per game, you could almost double that to 500,000 credits when you have credit boosters working for you. So that is an important tip that you need to keep in mind. You can make a lot of credits playing this game mode if you deploy your boosters and know how to use them accordingly. Next up, what are the best tanks to use in this game mode? This is a question I get asked a lot. You could make almost any tank work in this game mode, but based on my observations of all the best players who make General of the Army nearly 100% of the time, the most competitive tanks are the ones with high mobility. This means light tanks and medium tanks. I'm talking about Progettos, CS-52s, Burasks, the EBRs, the new ShipTech TVP, the T-44-100, the KPZ, which is the German medium tank, the new French medium tank, the AP Proto, the Scorpion G. You could also make heavy tanks work. I mean, any tank can work. But if you had to bring a heavy tank, I'd suggest a T-56 or a 703 version 2 or even a Renegade for that matter. What do all these tanks have in common? They are all premium tanks, number one. And number two, they all have some degree of what you would call good mobility. They are somewhat quick, even the heavy tanks. For example, the T-56 or the 703 or the Renegade, they are fairly quick tanks. Remember, this map is ginormous. Frontline is a huge map, and mobility will get you to the fight quicker, and mobility will let you run away from danger quicker as well. Again, I must stress, you can make most tanks work in this game mode. But if your goal is to be efficient in making General and making General of the Army and making 500,000 credits on average every game, this is the fastest, most reliable way you can do this consistently. This formula that I am providing for you is the most tried and true system that works perfectly, especially for all the players that I've observed with my own eyes. The best players on the Russian servers, they all play high mobility tanks. Alright, the next tip that I have for you: run food in your tank. Food consumable. If you want to save credits, you could use small repair kit, small first aid kit, or a small medical kit, but always run food in your tanks. They cost 20,000 credits, but if you buy them on sale, they cost 10,000 credits. Once again, these maps in Frontline are bigly, you would say. You will be engaging a lot of enemies from a long distance, and food consumables are going to improve your accuracy, mobility, reload time, view range. You will easily make up the cost of food consumables because you will hit more of your shots, reload a fraction quicker, have extra view range to earn assisted damage, and have better mobility to duck away from incoming fire, for example. There's the logic right there. Makes sense, right? Spend extra credits on food equals improved performance, equals more accurate shots, equals more credits earned. The total amount of credits earned because of the enhanced performance will easily pay for the cost of the food consumable. Trust me, this is very important. Now, remember I was asking you to pay attention to the turtle, this player playing the turtle and carrying a small medical kit. When his crew or both his loaders got destroyed by the artillery strike or airstrike, both loaders were out, and because he only had a small medical kit or a small first aid kit, he could only revive one of his loaders, which means his reload time was made worse. He had to wait for another 1.5 minutes or 90 seconds for his medical kit or first aid kit to recharge again to its full capacity before he can fix the second loader and bring his reload time back to 100% working order. And this cost him the opportunity of doing a little bit more damage. A little bit more damage that could have pushed him over the line of the 30,000 damage threshold. This game is a 29,000 damage game. He could have easily passed the 30,000 damage if he had both those loaders working, if only he had spent that extra 10,000 credits for the premium consumable of a premium med kit or a premium first aid kit. He could have repaired both his loaders at the same time and kept his DPG of that turtle tank at 100% and farmed a lot more damage and probably have more than 30,000 damage, which I think it is a record right now because this is the highest damage that I have seen so far in Frontlines. This is the highest game that I've seen so far, 29,000 plus damage, and he could have reached 30,000 just because of that premium medical kit consumable that he chose not to use. So okay, I'm done talking about premium consumables. Here's my next tip, which is really important. Play aggressive in the early game and learn how to manage your reserve tanks. When you spawn in the game from the start, you have 2 tanks, the one you are in and a reserve tank. This means if you got yourself killed within the first minute of the game, you still have a reserve tank that you can fall back on. You know, you will lose your first tank, get into a garage, and you would have a spare tank immediately ready to go. This is the start of the game. Remember this. This should be your goal. Rank up to general as soon as you can. And then once you reach the general rank, then you can start lapping up the damage. And you know, here's how you rank up fast. Okay, you learn how to make use of your reserve tanks, and in the early part of the game you need to be as aggressive as you can, even to the point of getting yourself killed and losing your first tank because you have another tank to spawn into. And then in your second tank you need to be a little bit more careful because you need to give yourself time to get another reserve tank ready to go before you can be hyper aggressive again. But anyway, here is the tip for you to rank up as fast as possible. Okay, the fastest way to rank up is to cap if you are on the attacking team. If you're on the attacking team, get on the cap. That is the quickest way for you to rank up to general. And if you're on the defensive team, the fastest way for you to rank up is to shoot the people inside the cap. And an even faster way is to get the kill shot on the tanks that are capping the objective. Now, a lot of people don't like defending. A lot of people like the attacking because they think the attacking teams tend to win games more. But I'm here to tell you, this game is not about winning and losing. This game mode is about ranking up. And if you want to rank up fast, being in the defensive team, you can actually rank up a lot quicker because all you need to do is just get the kill shot on the players that are capping. And as soon as you kill a tank that's been sitting in the cap circle, earning all the capture points, his capture points will automatically transfer directly to you once you've delivered the final killing blow. But that's not the end. There's an even faster way to rank up, and that is to be inside the cap circle together with the enemy tanks that are capping the objective. How does this work, you say? While the enemy is capping, all his cap points are directly transferring to you as you sit in the cap circle with him, and you can see your rank creeping up by just sitting there. Of course, this is almost impossible to do because you are both trying to kill each other at the same time. But example, on the winter map, this map, on objective B, for example, exactly where our friend is looking right now, on objective B, there is hard cover inside the cap circle where both the attacking and defensive teams can be on the cap circle at the same time. It's very rare and very difficult to do to get into this position, but if you do find an opportunity, now you know it's the fastest way to rank up. I've made a video about this move where I literally just sat in the cap behind the wall and I keep the enemy tracked, trying not to kill him just so that I can keep ranking up while he's alive. I don't want to kill him, I just want to keep him tracked so that while he's capping, his capture points are transferring directly to me and I am ranking up as I'm sitting there keeping him tracked. So that is my tip to you. If you want to rank up fast, remember, either you're attacking, sit inside the cap, or you are defending, shoot the people in the cap. Okay? And my next tip to you is shoot standard ammo majority of the time if you want to make lots of credits. Have some premium shells to deal with difficult to pen tanks, but keep your ammo cost as low as possible. Another way to be smart about this is to play tanks with high penetration standard ammo. Tanks like the ShipTech TVP, the CS52, the AP Proto, the Scorpion G. All these tanks have very high penetration standard shells. This means it's going to cost you very little to fire these shells, therefore translating into more credits earned. Now, in my own personal experience, I've managed to earn about more than 70 million credits in 1 week of Frontlines. This was in like 2019, I think the last time I did this. It was a bit of a grind because I was going ham in the game mode, but I managed to get 70 million credits in 1 week. And then for the rest of the year, I didn't have to play any kind of random battles just for the sake of grinding credits. I didn't need to play any of my premium tanks just to make credits in random battles. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how you make a lot of credits. The next tip that I have for you is map awareness. Press the M key on your keyboard to bring up the big map on the screen. This gives you a clear view of what's going on and where you should go next. Also, besides using the plus and minus keys to resize your minimap, you can also hover your mouse over the minimap and hit the control plus scroll wheel to zoom in on your minimap. This is very useful, but it requires muscle memory. It requires you to train yourself to do it. There is also the tab key that brings up the team list. Just like random battles, you can see the list with all the players in your sector, or you can toggle to see a list of all the players on your entire map and who's got the leading scores and whatnot. You need to keep practicing doing these things, your map awareness, making use of the M keys, your mini maps. You need to do this because once you using these tools become like second nature, it will add a new level of efficiency to your game and ultimately help you squeeze out more damage out of your game. Another important key is the J key. When you hold it down for 15 seconds, your tank is going to go kaboom and you will get teleported back to the garage and pick the next tank, providing you have the reserve tank ready to go, of course. This is especially useful when you found yourself no longer doing damage in a position that is seeing no action. Respawn in a new tank and go to where the fight is. My last couple of tips: don't sit idle. Even if you're in a slow tank, always go to where the enemy is, or be in a position where the enemy is guaranteed coming to you. The only time you are not aggressive is when you have no reserve tanks in your garage. If you're in your last tank, you've got no reserve tanks, that's when you need to play a little bit safer. Keep your eye on the timer. When is your next tank coming in? This way, if you died, you don't need to sit in the garage and wait for your next respawn tank to come. You can immediately jump into another tank. So, you need to learn how to manage your reserve tanks. Very important. Like I said, the only time you are not aggressive is when you have no reserve tanks in your garage. The next tip is let others focus on the final objectives. There are more than enough players attempting to kill the turrets. It is not in your interest to end the game. The more damage you do, the more credits you will earn. Ending the game prematurely will deny you of this credit earning potential, and you don't want that, right? You want to earn as much credits as possible. And the last tip I have for you is YOLO. YOLO at the end of the game. Take more risks. If you have 3 tanks in reserve, use up all your reserve tanks to get that extra bit of damage that will add to your experience and add to your credit earnings. Now that I told you, I told you at the beginning of this video that I will tell you why I am bored of Frontlines and what I think Wargaming can do to make it better and bring back the old players of this game mode. There are 3 things I dislike about Frontlines. The first is tier 9s. Now I'm glad they got rid of it. I hope they don't bring it back ever. But the damage is done. Players have been turned off and disgusted by Wargaming because the introduction of tier 9s into Frontline last year kind of exposed Wargaming as like some kind of greedy game developers. Again, I applaud them for fixing this, but it was a problem they created for themselves. The second thing I dislike about Frontline is the lack of maps. Frontline is in its 5th year and we only have 2 maps. This is not logical. I've not played Frontline since the first week of 2020, mostly because I'm bored of the same 2 maps. I know 95% of all good positions of the maps and I can make general 100% of the time. In my opinion, I think most players want to discover new things, new positions, to work out new strategies. The way to keep my curiosity piqued is if there's new environments to discover and learn, new places where I can make videos on, new strategies that I can use to be even more efficient. Right now, the only thing that is consistent is in this game is the changing, it's the new tanks. The new premium tanks are the only things changing in this game mode. Am I supposed to discover and be amazed by new premium tanks and what they can do? Of course not. This is absurd that after its 5th year we're still playing on 2 maps. Now the third thing I dislike about Frontline is the combat reserves. I don't dislike all of them, I only dislike the defensive combat reserves like Minefield, Smoke Screen and the Sentinel. They are designed for passive and defensive plays, and it frustrates the players that's on the receiving end of these reserves. It does not reward the enterprising teams and players that are pushing forward and opening up the flanks. I feel combat reserves should favor attacking and promoting more combat action, like the name suggests, combat reserves. My favorite combat reserve is Inspire, which rewards teamwork and players pushing forward together. There's a good example of a good combat reserve. So for me, I think Wargaming could improve Frontline by adding 3 more new maps into the game mode and removing defensive reserves like the Sentinel, the Minefield and the Smoke Screen. So anyway, here are the results. Our friend here did nearly 1 million credits profit. Ignore the 399,000 bonus playing in Platoon. That is definitely something wrong. There's a bug in the replay, but he got 1 million credits clean, and he also got the General of the Army and the high caliber or the Supreme gun. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.